Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, that's Lessons, and in the other direction is Justin. For some reason I point behind me when I do this. Anyway, and we're back with episode 2 of Pluto. You know what? Random choice. Hey Justin, tell us what happened.
Absolutely. We were introduced to the world of the future, where there is the murders happening that seem to have connections. They also involve robots, and we are going down that rabbit hole of investigation. We spent a lot of time with a old bitter music composer and a war veteran robot, which that ended super well. The robot's dead now. Spoiler. There's some really cool scenes, some really epic connections developing, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we go. As we ended off with the introduction of Astro Boy.
Okay. So I had written this note down. I'm assuming that I must have written this down weeks ago when I watched episode 2 with Griffin, but I think this still applies to the very first episode. So I want to throw this out there, and after that, if you all have any thoughts about the first episode too, go ahead and throw them out there. But do you think our detective's nightmares are his actions during the war, and he tried to delete the memories, but they are coming back for some reason?
I don't know. We have enough information. It could be literally that the reveal is that he's the murderer and that he's misremembering his murders, or someone else is the murderer and messing with him, or he's remember something completely different. Some other tragedy.
Well, there's the point that he goes to. I'm assuming that the guy, when he's laying shirtless and he's got the tubes coming out of him, I'm assuming that's his creator. I'm assuming that when he goes back to his creator to analyze his dreams and everything, that his creator would have known.
I think those are war memories. I don't think he's the murderer, but I think his creator knows who is.
All right. Well, do either of you have any trailing thoughts from episode 1 to get into before we watch?
I mean, I had to say that it was a real tearjerker, the second half. Like, first I was upset with the old man, but the more I got into his story, which is, I mean, prototypical child gets abandoned, blah, blah, blah story. Even the twist itself wasn't much of a twist, right? She did it to help him. But still, it was like, the way it was delivered, and the juxtaposition of the robot who wants to be a real man, the Pinocchio aspect of the robot, and the old man who wants to live kind of thing, and his tragic backstory, it worked, and of course the art was beautiful, so it all came together in a way that I think someone else would have just flubbed it. It would have been like, oh, whatever. It's like, you had a tough light, old man. Good. Who cares?
Yeah.
My only trailing thought is just a fun little jab at the comments where all of us clearly saw the little dot that somehow revealed this whole path in the background in that one piece of found footage for 1 second, and if you didn't, do better,
I guess I only have additive to lessons thing, which was clearly the whole you spent your whole life in spite of your mother, only to not know that she was there the whole time. But also, point of correction of the whole number 6 wanting to be a real boy. Remember that robots in this world are considered human. They've earned that legal right. But I mean, more so, it's not that he wants to be human, it's that he wants to forget that he was a weapon of war, or, move on from being a weapon of war.
Well, he wants to exceed his own programming and experiences, right? He wants to learn how to do music. And that's the whole thing that he says, you're a machine. Yeah, legally you can be a person. And personhood and humanity are two different things, by the way, legally speaking. And I think that the video kind of makes a distinctions about that, right? It's like, because even though, for example, the robot that gets murdered in the bridge, by the guy who goes crazy as a wife, right? And he's married and all that. But clearly, someone else looking at it's like, well, I mean, they're robots. They have rights as robots, but that doesn't mean that they're people
I
as the way
think
we understand them,
I think there's an
right?
element that Raph pointed out to me when I was watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes with him, is that I extrapolate shit that the show doesn't say, and that he calls that making stuff up. So it could be that I am extrapolating from the very first episode of Astro Boy from 1963 that I watched before this, elements of that the show here hasn't said, and that I
Well,
am adding content that does not exist in Pluto to my statements.
I could see that. Like the biggest thing that I saw from what they were showing with North number 6 was the idea of wanting to deal with trauma,
Hmm.
which is a very human thing.
Well, I mean more so that the very first episode of the show made statements that may not apply to Pluto, or rather that I would be making a mistake trying to force upon any narrative Pluto tries to give, in that unless Pluto itself says those things from that very first story, then I shouldn't be bringing it up, right? That lessons narrative here might be the correct narrative the show is trying to say, and I may be screwing it up by bringing outside stories into play.
I did that.
No. I wouldn't go so far because interpretation belongs to the viewer in this case, right? And you can try to send a message and try to think as clear as possible, but ultimately, it is up to the viewer, the reader, the audience to decide what they get out of it. I mean, yes, you can have outside influence, but that doesn't necessarily that it's wrong. It is just because something is debatable doesn't mean it's necessarily right or wrong.
Well, no. There's an argument that comes into play with certain shows that I've watched over time, namely between me and the audience that enjoys those shows, where they'll be like, well, if you read the novel or if you read the manga, you would know this shit. And I'd be like, well, the show should be written in such a way that I don't need outside material to be able to figure stuff out. So that's what I'm
yes,
saying,
definitely,
that quite
Yeah.
possibly I'm doing that role of somebody who shows up in the comment section and says, well, if you read the manga for this, you'd know exactly what they're trying to tell you. Maybe I should not be bringing in these outside materials because
I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
No.
well,
Because-
I mean, maybe I'm not, but I mean, I'm acting in the same role. The same thing that those
Oh.
people would do, I'm doing by
Yeah.
bringing up
I see what
stuff
you're
that
saying.
you didn't see.
I
And
see what you're
that you
saying.
shouldn't have to see to understand.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect point. It's like I seen that along. It's like, oh, I remember with Final Fantasy 14 or 15. It's like, oh, well, you should have seen the movie. It's like, if I needed to see the movie to play the game, there's something wrong with the game, right? To understand what's going on. Or like with the first Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams one.
Yeah.
I mean, J.J. Abrams, he's a good second unit director, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But read the comics.
Lens flare.
I don't want to go into derail the entire video by talking about all the things I don't like about J.J. Abrams. But, there's a comic book that explains how the hero character got his super ship and all that. It's like, if that's important information that I should have known, and it should have been somehow in the movie, right? Otherwise, either it's not important or they screwed up.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts before we get into this?
I'm looking forward to it.
Same.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. Just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra. I think the crying girl thing is the most impactful to me because it's literally the thumbnail that's in my Windows Explorer for all of these episodes. I guess technically this is a spoiler for the entire show too.
I was gonna say, if I were to actually look into those panels, it might actually tell me something.
Well, you saw the detective with a thing on his head going like, ah! So clearly something is happening there. The sky cries from Mont Blanc.
Yep.
Nope, a different guy. Mont Blanc didn't have human feet.
True. That guy's not doing so well.
田橋刑事、被害者の身元が分かりました。田崎純一郎、法学者です。国際ロボット法の発案者でもあります。
I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but when I
Ooh.
watched the two-part 1963 version of this, it did not have human deaths. So like I said, I have no idea what this part of the story is about.
If you you didn't see it, this is the person who thought who like made robots equal. Or the person who started that.
調べさせます。ああ、おい。しかし、どういうことか。
Wow. Because now we're in Japan, of course.
Yeah, it's a worldwide. Astro Boy is a worldwide thing. It's apparently one of the best Astro Boy stories is him going into space.
Astro Boy, the original Mr. Worldwide.
はい。力のあるロボットならこれぐらいやってのけるだろう。たわし警視、角の件ですが、スイスとドイツです。
Switzerland and Germany. So we now have that confirmed.
ロボットが破壊された東部に、あともう一件がドイツ、デュッセルドル。
Also identifies where the
被害者ランケもロボット
mansion was, because we were in debate about that before.
Yeah. Well, it said
Germany.
yeah, Bohemia. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, Bohemia is where he was from. Apparently, the mansion was in Dusseldorf.
同じ刑事が担当しています。同じ刑事？
Wait, maybe. I might be wrong.
ロボット刑事。
No, I think you're correct.
No, remember they were showing the other dead human that also had the thing. He might
Oh,
have
yeah,
been
you're right.
killed in Dusseldorf.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might not have number 6 on file yet.
Fair enough.
Weird.
何がですか？
君を見ていると人間かロボットか識別システムが誤作動を起こしそうになる。
よく言われます。
何度かニュースでは見かけていた。
Interesting.
こうして実際に君を目の前にすると。
Oh, and lessons. You said you've seen the original Astro Boy, right?
なあ。
Yeah.
第39
So,
Well,
I mean,
what I
you know his
remember.
story.
Yeah.
平和維持
Yeah.
軍と
I'm
し
just
て
saying
君
because I
が
think
現地
Justin
に
said
入
he
った
didn't.
時は
So,
Nope.
随分と騒ぎになったろ。
I am coming into most of
た
these
だあの時僕は
so
あ
fresh.
の国の平和を守る手助け
So
をする
fresh
た
and
め
so
に行ったん
clean.
ですが。
まるでアイドルかポップスターがやってきたみたいに扱われた。
はい。お待たせしました。いただきます。何ですか？
いや、本当に美味しそうに食べるなと思ってね。私の飲み方なんて
It's actually
いかに
pretty
も前
depressing.
だろ。
気
Yeah.
にしてるうちに分かるような気がしてきたんです。
何がだい？
美味しいって言葉。人間の言う本当の感覚は分かりませんけど、なんとなく胸
There is truth behind the phrase fake it till you make it.
なんということだ。じゃあさっきは新しいおもちゃで遊ぶ子供を見て、君も本当に欲しいと思った。
はい。あれ、今子供の間で大人気なんです。
ではカタツムリは？さっき雨の中でカタツムリを見つけたね。
はい。
あれはただ有害類マイマイ科の生物を採取したという。
Sorry, all the while this is playing, I'm desperately trying to remember the name of the kid from Detroit Become Human.
命を見て感動したんじゃないのかな。
どうかな、わかりません。
Oh, Alice.
That's
Alice was her name.
that's a game that's on my long list of things I don't have time to play.
子供だが、私なんかよりもはるかに人工知能が優れていることが分かったよ。
だから売られたんです。見た目が子供だから面白がられてサーカスに売られたんです。
That's rough.
Which is literally his first episode.
キジヒトさん、
すまなかったね。変な話になって。
いえ、
Okay. Now I have a question: Is if they cannot taste,
事件
drink,
の概
and
要はメール
food,
で送った通りだが
why do they engage in the behavior
スコットランドの
anyway?
ノース2号と相次いで
Normalization,
know.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
危ないということですか。
ああ
Mont Blanc?
It just said Mont Blanc 2 in Scotland?
No, no, no.
Mont Blanc.
ロボット7体を破壊する
I-
こと。
No, 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 no. I'm talking about the fact that they are eating and drinking.
No, I
Yeah,
caught
no,
that.
no, yeah. Justin was talking about the fact they were talking about Mont Blanc in the scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Remember, Mont Blanc could go anywhere.
メ
So,
モリーチップを読み
perfect.
取ら
Yeah,
せ
yeah,
てもらえ
okay.
ませんか。
No, I agree. I think it's.
あなたが見聞きしたものの中に何か事件解明の
I
手が
think
かりがあるかもしれません。
see, they address it in Astro Boy's origin,
他の捜査
and
の
I
報
don't want to
酬を
say anything about it if
私の個人情報
Pluto
を入って
decides to cover Astro Boy's origin as a plot point. So,
Got it.
そうか。君の人工知能は私よりずっと優れているんだっけな。君を信じるよ。
I appreciate that we had a whole conversation that started when Gishite said, "Your artificial intelligence is much better than mine," and we finished it with Gishite saying, "Your artificial intelligence is much better than mine."
Oh, okay.
ありがとうございました。
捜査に関係ない情報はそちらで削除してくれ。
はい。
私の気づいていない情報が見つかるといいんだが。
あなた
Did he though?
気づいていない。
I don't know that he's gotten over it yet.
ゲジヒトさん、すみません。
お
ちょっとトイレ。
Okay.
トイレ？
これも人間の真似をしてるうちに習慣になっちゃって。
ああ、なるほど。君ほど人間に近くなれば。
That's a lie.
話だね。
Yeah. But you don't tell me what.
よくね。
Don't do this to me.
Well, he got all the memories from the chip, right?
仕事
Yeah.
You remember how the wife kind of had a breakdown when she saw everything?
あと3人。
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess one assumes that Astro Boy can mimic emotions better than Geshite can.
Yeah.
So Astro Boy actually had feelings about the stuff that he saw.
だからチップを読ませるなんて嫌なんだ。ほら、大人をからかうな。すぐにしろけだ。
大丈夫ですよ。あなたと奥さんなら大丈夫。何があっても乗り越えられます。
ありがとう。それじゃあ、アトム君。
And of course, remember Astro Boy's name is Adam.
That would be a strange conversation to have with someone who knows as much about you as you do.
Yeah, technically. Oh, literally, as you said. But
Yeah.
Yeah. 窒息死です。窒息死？凶器は何だ？ロープか？
ええ、それがわからないんです。ただ首を圧迫されたとしか。
痕跡がないのか？
はい。
おい、立体再現しろや。
Okay, this is the purpose of this room. I was just about to question why there's this big empty space.
Nah, it's Daft Punk is upstairs about to start.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
it's a holodeck. It's also we have a big 3D animation budget, so let's use it.
犯人の目処は大体ついたな。
本当ですか？
ああ、現場に痕跡を残さないということは。
不思議だな。
お前は
アトム。
こんにちは、タワシ警視中村課
誰の許可を得てここに入ってきた？
長。入館証はいただいてます。ユーロポールに捜査協力を要請されましたよね。僕の中に担当捜査官のゲジヒトさんのメモリーを入力しました。スイスのモンブラン事件もデュッセルドルフの事件もインプットされています。
他人の頭の中身を簡単にコピーするとは便利にできてるもんだ、ロボットってやつは。だがそれで何もかも分かったと思ったら大間違いだ。所詮お前らは美しいもうまいも分からん連中だ。まあ、この事件に関してはお前らの方が起こりやすいか。ちょっとやってな、ロボットが殺人を犯したぞ。
なぜそんなことが？
痕跡を残さない人間などいないんだよ。生きてる人間は指紋やら髪の毛やらいろいろと残すもんだ。
This guy's being real spicy towards Adam.
じゃあこれは何です
I
か？
mean, he's a
To
human.
robots in general.
Yeah, he's a
To
human.
robots in general.
Adam's a kid. Looks like.
お茶。
はい。
Yeah.
割れた湯飲み茶碗が2つ。それに羊羹。
おい、ピックアップしろ。はい。
I'll say the same thing that I said when I saw this originally with Griffin, is that I think it's insane that they can recreate the whole scene, including stuff that they missed.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Adam is scanning the scene, right? And he's like, you guys missed this thing. Well, then how did they scan it for the 3D room if they missed it?
Fair enough.
アジサイ。2人は縁側に腰掛けてアジサイを見ていた。
ピックアップしろ。
What the? Okay, that one pulled me out.
Yeah.
ロボットは美しいものがわか
I
ら
mean,
ない
just
んです。
Batman detective mode.
これでも犯人はロボットですか？
Yeah.
それじゃ何か。その人間がこの家もぶち壊したっていうのか。のほほんとアジサイ見た後この家をブルドーザーで潰したっていうのか。おい、証言 VTR。
はい。
まるで竜巻でした。ゴーってものすごい音がして、あっという間に音鳴り。
I mean, it could be a cyborg.
True.
Well, when you put it into context, what we saw at the end of last episode.
しかも一点だけ局地的に潰すような不自然な竜巻だ。どう解釈する
And what they said about the scene of Mont
その後
Blanc's
田
death.
崎さんは庭に出た。
And he's targeting the most powerful robots and those who gave robots rights.
But for what?
So, anti-robot hysteria? A
That's what I'm
bigot?
thinking.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, that's an actual question. I have no idea. I watched the whole thing untranslated, so I got no idea how the story goes.
Yeah, the horns. There's something more to do with these horns.
Flashback to the only robot that's ever killed a human. I guess from Kashyte's memory.
ゲジヒトさんのメモリー。
Yep. I can't even look smart since I said I've already seen this one.
ローマ神話の冥王。プルート。
I appreciate that we're all just deciding to call it Pluto, right? Because that dude also listed like 3 other names.
Yeah.
田崎純一郎さんはペンを使われる方でしたか？
ああ、右手にペンダコがあるから、そのようだね。
雨で流されてますけど、かすかに手にインクが。 Glad we simulated these footprints without making them obvious for the humans to see. 慌てて家の中に戻ってるんだ。書斎へ。ほらここ。手についてるのと同じインクが転がってる。
おい、ピックアップ。
慌てて何かを探して倒したんだ。
何かってなんだ。
この下ピックアップしてください。
名刺？
調査団。
あった
What? Okay.
指紋がついた名刺だ。
誰の名刺ですか？
They keep doing that. They like, oh, I discovered something. Switch to something else.
Well, I think it's supposed to be this place specifically. Just the card. If I'm not mistaken, the outside appearance of that building is supposed to look like the science center from the show or something.
Isn't that his?
博士
Oh yeah, that's Adam's father. Yeah.
少しいいですか。
ああ、どうしたんだい？
I don't know if you could say that.
お茶の水博士。博士は田崎純一郎という法学者をご存知ですか。
It's either that or you know more about the show than I do.
亡くなったそうだね。何か事件に巻き込まれて。
Okay.
国際ロボット法の発案者だ。立派な人物だった。
ではベルナルド・ランケという人は。
ロンケ。
I think the connection might be that they're finding the targets through this this company's database.
彼がどうかしたのかい？
亡くなりました。
I think this is actually a government
ランケ
thing,
さんとは
not
ど
a
こで知り合
not
わ
a
れました。
company.
第39次中央アジア紛争の時だよ。
It would still be very much possible that the government database is the source of finding the
亡くなる
targets.
間際に連絡を取ろうとして名刺を探していました。
It's the future. Still use
博
business
士の名
cards.
刺です。
私に連絡？
はい。博士にも危険が迫っています。命を狙われているんです。ボラー調査団の元メンバー全員が。
Oh.
教えてください。ボラーとは一体何です？
発端はペルシア王国が大量破壊ロボットを保有しているという疑惑だった。君も知っている通り、当時ペルシア王国はダリウス14世による独裁体制が敷かれていた。
Otherwise known as
民
Saddam
衆の
Hussein.
たちも国連の定める権利条約から大きく外れる処遇を受けていた。そしてダリウス14世は圧倒的なロボット軍事力で近隣諸国を制圧し、中央アジアを手中に収めようとしていた。そこで提案されたのが大量破壊ロボット製造禁止条約だ。即座に国連で承認され、ほどなくペルシア王国に大量破壊ロボット保有の疑惑。
Okay, with that many people, I was gonna try and figure out what countries were present, but
主張したのもトラキア合衆国のアレクサンダー大統領だ。その彼の主張をもとにペルシア王国に派遣されたのがボラー調査団。そもそもボラーとは何なのか、呼び名なのか、何を指しているのか皆目わからないまま、その調査団メンバーの中にいたのが私。
Any comparisons to real life are just purely accidental.
それで
Well, I mean, this original story was written before in the 60s, right? Early 60s.
ではトラキア合衆国は何を根拠に
So I guess they had to change
天才がいたんだよ。
their villain to look like Saddam Hussein on
ペ
purpose.
ルシア王国があれほど高度なロボット兵団を配備できたのは一人の天才科学者の手腕と言われている。
その科学者の名前は
okay.
通称ゴジ博士。本当の名前はわからない。顔も公になっていない。そんな人間が実際に
So we have a lead to this Dr. Goji.
といったありさまでな。我々が調査した結果はそんなもんだった。ただね、あの時我々が立ち入ったあの場所、古いモスクの地下深く、あれは一体何だったんだろう。あのおびただしい数のロボットの死骸は。ペルシア王国側の説明は使用不能になったロボットの残骸集積場ということだった。そして
Okay, that just put a theory in my head. I believe that we are dealing with a Frankenstein's monster of its own creation, who is in unstable robot that is going after the world's greatest robot to prove how good it is.
That Mont Blanc?
It looks like
I think
it.
it. Yeah.
War flashback?
怪我はないか
Yeah, we're in flashback.
Oh.
ブランドは
Sorry, I mean, we're in flashback, yeah.
個体破壊した
Yeah.
俺は2962体モンブランあんたは何体だ
Oh, I think he's Geist. Yeah.
I think it's more or less impactful because we know that they're mass produced.
さすがだな3022体だ
Mont Blanc is not happy about
僕た
this.
ちは何をやっているんだろう。僕たちは正義のためにここに来たんだよね。虐げられたロボットたちを解放するためにここに来たんだよね。僕たちは
アクセスしてみろダリウス14世の宮殿が落城寸前だ
Okay, so that's
中
Persia.
心部にも平和維持軍が
Oh,
入っ
look
て
what
き
it
た
is.
し平和の使者かいいなアダムは俺たちはここに何をしに来たか破壊すべき本当の相手は誰だったのか
Are we sure that that's the that's Geist?
誰だったのか肉を
Who do you think is Geist?
一体何なんだこの肉
This blonde guy.
Ah.
Okay, let's say if I get it so far, they went to war to save the robots and ended up destroying thousands of robots,
Yes.
which kind of answered the question that I had earlier whether they were fighting robots or people, right?
Well, we know they were fighting robots. 'Cause remember in the first episode,
Yeah.
the old man gives a whole, how many did you kill? And he's like, well, we can't kill humans. And we had that whole, what's the point of
Yeah.
a war where you can't kill the people you need to kill?
Yeah.
But the fact is that they were creating weapons of mass destruction. Or robots of mass destruction.
I think we found our next target.
Now we have Robot Sumo.
We technically already have something very similar to that in BattleBots that's existed for
Yeah.
how long?
Yeah.
Yeah, Roku ain't gonna like that in the future.
ブランドさん
いや、近頃は相当ガタが来ててね。試合後はこうしてしばらく動けないこともある。
でも不思議ですね。対戦相手も同じパンクラチオンスーツなのに、あなたが入るととてつもなく強い。
試合なんてのは経験の蓄積でなんとかなる。あとは運だ。
運
ああ、ロボットが運なんて言うと人間は笑うがね。
Oh, he's also a robot. Oh, okay.
I think you're supposed to get that
Yeah.
implication from the guy that you guys are suggesting what's his name? Geist?
Yeah.
Remember he, like, zoomed off in his mind and saw what was happening in the capital?
古い町だろ
Which I felt
Yeah.
implied that he was a robot too.
I guess he would be in the he got into the network. as he
Which I
said.
guess you all thought he was a robot anyway, so you thought he was Geist.
Yeah. Someone who very much looks like Geist if it's not.
なんでこんなボロアパートに住んでるんだっていう顔だな。
いや、
まあ、あれだけのファイトマニアをいただけや相当な豪邸に住めるわな。だが、俺は別のことに金を使った。
Ah.
ただいま、
格闘王のご帰還だ。
Yeah, they're setting this man up to be taken out.
I just
Yeah.
Using
all this
kids
theme
to
music
do
with,
it.
like rock guitar in the background.
そうだ、女房のミネだ。どうも、ユーロポールのゲジ人です。さあみんな、飯だぞ。
So he's adopted all these kids, I take it, right?
Either that or they're hers.
No.
ほら、こぼすなよ。も
食事中に走り回らない。
Either way.
ねえねえおじさん刑事なの。
うそうだよ。
じゃあさ、かっこいい武器とか持ってないの？
ああそんなかっこいいのは持ってないな。
こら、バカ言ってんじゃないの。言うこと聞かないとお尻叩くよ。すみません、本当に。
いえ、こんな楽しい食事は久しぶりです。どうだい、人間のするような食事も。
I'm curious, can robots get a haircut?
賑やかでいいです
Yeah,
ね。
I guess so.
うちはいつもこんなだよ。
I mean, it's all artificial anyway, right?
あんた、サラダもちゃんと食べな。
うちじゃ母さんが一番強いんだよ。
母さんが世界チャンピオンよね。チャンピオンチャンピオンチャンピオンチャンピオンチャンピオン。
Oh god, I couldn't imagine trying to sleep in that house.
やっぱりチャンピオンだ。
Well, imagine no longer.
みんな寝た？あんまり飲みすぎないでよ。
I mean, it doesn't do anything for him, right? He's not.
That we know of.
If those are drinks specifically for them, maybe it's like lubricant or something.
俺がこんな仕事だろ。
It could be the equivalent of like dwarven alcohol versus human alcohol.
I guess so.
そうやってみれば。
Or we just stepped into Futurama for a second and then.
We're gonna start
Yeah.
belching flame.
そんな時にあの法律が。
Bender shows up.
ロボット養子縁組制度。ああ、初めは一人、もっと逃げた方がいいってもう一人、そして5人だ。不思議なもんでな。前はいつ試合でバラバラにされても構わないって思ってたもんだが、今は少しでも長く生きたいと思うようになった。不思議だろう。
Oh, yeah, they're setting him up for a horrible, horrible death.
Stop having him say these things.
今度は死にたくなくなる。
Like next, his wife is gonna say he's a good man.
Yeah.
I don't think she's the kind of woman to ever say that.
But she's gonna say it to like the detective as like he's going to leave.
共に戦った思い出よりも
She's like worried, but she won't say it to his face.
木や鳥の話、やつはいろんな話をしてくれた。
He told me all about trees.
あんな死に方するなんて。ノース2号というロボット、ご存知ですか？
Oh shit, right, I think I called him number 6 for some
死
reason.
にました。
You did, so did I.
Because I know a different anime called number 6.
彼はスコットランドに住む音楽家の執事として。
That's why I saw Scotland pop up.
Oh, a composer in Scotland. Wow, we've been trying to put this castle in a place we understand. Scotland, Germany, all over the place.
俺のことなら心配ない。俺は格闘王だ。だから狙われるんです。望むところだ。モンブランをあんな目に合わせたやつだ。逆にこっちが粉々にしてやるよ。バカなことは考えないでください。何かあったら私に連絡を。
おかわりなさいます？
いや、やっぱりきついですね。トルコ式のエネルギー。
Energy drink. Okay.
I got it wrong too.
もう一杯行くわ。
あんたはダメ。
You might be a good man, but you drink
本当
too.
に送っていかなくて大丈夫か？ ええ、そこでタクシー拾いますから。そうか。まあ、また遊びに来いや。はい。今日は本当に楽しかった。ああ、子供はいいぞ。あんたも考えてみればいい。まあ、俺んとこみたいに5人は無理だろうけどな。そうですね。
Yeah, 5 kids is something I wouldn't want to imagine dealing with, especially that young.
どうした？
Oh,
Not even
just
a good
remember.
idea for somebody who travels the world all the time.
Yeah, maybe that's what he has a disagreement with his wife. Maybe they want a kid, and she's like, you know.
平気です。
I don't know.
Ooh,
We only
that
saw
could be the case.
her. We only saw her the one time.
それじゃあ、
Yeah.
くれぐれも気をつけて。何かあったら私に連絡してください。なあ。さっき俺、勝負は運だって言っただろう。人間はよく運任せって言うけどさ、運も勝ち取るもんだ。俺は家族を得て運を勝ち取った。もしあんたに何かあったら、俺に連絡してくれ。俺はラッキーマンだ。
No.
I mean, it's like punching your ticket, punching your ticket, punching your ticket, punching your ticket. It's like, yep, has a family, has kids, said he's not gonna die.
To be
I have luck
fair-
on my side.
To be fair, after a certain point, all the death flags become an armor of their own, right?
Well,
Yeah.
or someone else.
Like, if he doesn't, it's a great subversion. However, oh, that translation hurts because that's not that's a Kimura, not a double wrist lock.
I thought you were talking about the person screaming, "Rip his arm out," which is
Yeah.
Oh no,
kind of horrible.
That I fully accept. Okay, so now this is the champion of Turkey.
ヘラクレスさん。そんなもの立てるのは
Oh, he's the other guy.
That's why I was questioning. This guy's giving me suspect vibes.
クラチオンスーツの像が立つことになった。人間はそういうものが好きだ。昨日の試合見ましたよ。相変わらず強いですね。相変わらずか。
Okay, no.
よかったら
So double wrist lock is a catch wrestling term. We're very similar.
俺はロボットだ。
Yeah, he's a Pancratreon champion, so.
Yeah, so it makes
しか
sense.
し最近のあなたの試合は甘くなったと言いたいんだろう。昨夜も勝負どころで手を抜いた。こんなことじゃ次のグランド戦は危ういか。あんた彼に会ってきたんだって。ええ、絶好調でしたよ。だろうな。今まで何度も戦っているがあいつは強い。
Are they gonna just take out both of them at the same time during the fight?
Probably.
Oh jeez. Also,
Just to show how powerful he is, the enemy is.
exactly. Beautiful water effects.
刑事人刑事。人間はなぜこんなモニュメントを建てたがるかわかるかい？忘れてしまうからだよ。記憶がどんどん薄れる前に、ああいうものを立てて忘れないようにする。ところが、
When he's talking.
メモリーを消去しない限り、記憶はいつまでも残る。俺たちは鮮明に覚えている。戦友たち、敵も味方も山のようなロボットの死骸。そして学んだ。
殺意を。あれ以来、俺は対戦相手を破壊できなくなった。
Oh, so he could have ripped his arm off.
Yep.
いたわりでしょうか。なあ。俺たちは。
I guess we're seeing the evolution of robots.
That's what I'm
Each
getting.
one of them shows emotion in a way that other people are like, oh, wait a minute, maybe you shouldn't be feeling these emotions. Like one was seeking beauty, the other one was seeking protection of nature. One is seeking family, and the other one is showing compassion to his enemies.
Oh.
And Astro Boy is, well, Adam is showing a combination of all of them.
I was gonna say, if anything, Adam is
Curiosity.
you can't really call him a robot.
一緒に動物園行くって約束してたじゃないか。
I think you touched on a theme there that's gonna matter, but I don't think I quite can put it towards what it is yet.
And it's all about the war and their memories of the war.
Yeah.
So maybe the enemy is not an enemy robot. It's one of them. And what he learned from the war was hatred or bigotry or self-loathing or something.
いつまでもごねてないの。お母さんが一緒に行くから。
Mm,
じゃあ、お父さんの嘘つき。
that's very much
急に
possible.
仕事って何
Maybe. I'm just speculating at this moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
取材でね。
取材？
ミス・イスタンブールとの対談だって。いや、世話になった編集者がどうしてもって言うから。
じゃあ楽しく対談してらっしゃい。
Are they both Turkish robot, or one is Greek and the other one is Turkish? It would be interesting, right?
Yeah.
What? どうした？
どうしたじゃないですよ。勝手にパンクラジオンスーツを持ち出すなんて。
大丈夫だ。
Okay.
そういう問題じゃないんです。
Oh.
He's preparing for the fight. He knows this guy is coming, and he left his
Yeah.
family so they don't get hurt.
Yup. I like that.
次の試合のためにちょっと借りるだけさ。
いや、でも。
I'm done with this.
Yeah, he wants to go to a place where he can have this fight and not hurt anybody. And
Yep.
I think he knows who is coming for them. He might
That
know.
would be interesting.
Otherwise, how he could predict the attack, right? Or like, the guy could just show up at any moment, right? So,
一連の事件の
Yeah.
犯人は人間なんでしょうか。それとも
so either it's a cyborg or it's a robot that wanna,
またまたロボットと人間両方か。
or a combination of the
ロ
two.
ボットが殺人を犯したという前例はブラウ1589のケースだけだよ。
本当なんですか。
なぜだい？
いえ、ブラウ1589というロボットの人工知能はどういう欠陥があったんですか。
None.
欠陥はなかった。
え？
彼の人工知能は完璧だった。
There's something more important about Brow.
人を殺す完璧。それはどういう。
That he learned an emotion that he couldn't shouldn't have,
それは
like hatred or greed or envy or something that
I would
drove
say
him to
that-
murder.
I would say that Brow learned manipulation.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who's locked up with this lance through his chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then we're definitely dealing with it's most likely caused by, I'm gonna say it was caused by a robot that had an emotional breakdown.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. And pretty brutal too. He doesn't wear the suit; he becomes the suit.
Yeah. There might be enough time in the episode where we actually get to see it. Holy visual effect.
どうしたゲジヒと刑事。回線をつなげ、ヘラクレス。これはアトム、君もアクセスしろ。アトム、どうした？
イスタンブールと回線が。
So Germany, Switzerland, Scotland, Istanbul.
ゲジヒトさん、何ですかこれは。
ブランドからの通信だ。回線をつないでおけ。
Oh, I know what he...
ブランド、
Brando knows he's not going to win.
今から
Yeah.
俺の戦い
He's
を見せ
trying to give them the
やめろ
information of who it is.
ブランダさん、逃げて。
場所を割り出した。国海沿岸だ。行くぞゲジヒト。モンブランド。
Revenge his friend.
ブランド、まともに戦うな。今からそっちへ行く。 回線が乱れてる。どうしたんだアトム。
博士、僕も行きます。
行くってどこへ。
ブランドさんが何者かに襲われています。早くしないと。
Come on, give us a glimpse.
なんだこいつは。
Give us something. That's a cyborg. Those eyes were too real.
ブランド、応答しろ。ブランド。ブランド。
If we would have got a little more visual, just a touch.
ブランド。
倒したよ。
ブランドさん。
俺の勝ちだ。だけど俺もやられた。
今行く。待てよブランド。
ヘラクレス。
Oh yeah, he's green. Yeah.
楽しみにしてたんだ。
俺もだ。
きっと俺の勝ちだ。
バカ言うな。やってみなきゃわからん。すぐに助けに行く。おとなしくそばで待ってろ。
今戦った時に分析した敵のデータを送信する。
Okay, here we go.
ブランド、無理するな。
And of course you show the kids.
かしいな。
ブランドの家族の仮装だ。
くそ。カイロがおかしいんだ。
ブランド、もういい。
ダメだ。正しいデータが
Here we go. Don't do that to us.
もういいんだ。
おかしいな。ごめんな。
They're gonna give us one last visual at the end, but nothing more.
Adam got something.
Yep.
刑事。言ったろ。俺はラッキーマンだ。子供たちと動物園に行く約束をした。男の約束だ。心配するのと伝えてくれ。
You better take those kids to the zoo.
ラッキーマンだ。
ブランド。
I expect this zoo montage next episode.
ここが回線の途切れた地点だ。さっきから通信を送っているが、何の返答もない。あるのはただ、水面に浮かぶ油と、海底に沈んだ大量の残骸だけだ。
ゲジヒトさん、ヘラクレスさん。一瞬だけ渾身してきたデータをキャッチしませんでしたが。
いや、何も。それはブランドではない何者かの発信ということか。
ええ、何か別の抑制の効かなくなった人工知能から発せられたノイズのような。
ノイズ？
なんだろうこれ。
音もモニターに出せるかい？
ええ。
アトム、こちらにも転送してくれ。
わかりました。これ次の瞬間です。
なんだこれは。
人間はこういうものを何と呼ぶんだろう。死神。
死神？
感情。
Emotion.
We might be on the right path.
巨大な苦しみ。
Come on. Okay.
こちらイスタンブールブルーモスクコロシアムです。英雄ブランドの死を悼み、大勢の人々が集まっています。
ではここで事件のあった現場から中継です。こちら現場です。付近の海底にはおびただしい数の残骸が散乱しており、そのほとんどがブランドさんのものだということです。現在も警察と軍による
Pretty sure they'll probably be able to grab the information from the body.
Maybe.
は不可能であると関係者は語っています。
いつまでこんなことを続けるつもりだ。選手権の防衛期間がもうすぐ切れちまうんだぞ。聞いてるのかヘラクレス。このまま試合に出ないようなら契約不履行で訴えるぞ。
Oh.
この女プロモーターあのハフトを飲めるなよ。
Dude, don't. He might not be able to kill you, but he probably slap you around.
Yeah.
部品が一つも出てこない。出てくるのは粉々になったブランドの体だけだ。 ここでブランドは戦って敵を倒した。じゃあなぜ敵の部品は見つからない？
ヘラクレス、軍も警察も諦めた回収作業だぞ。なぜお前が大枚はたいてこんなことやらなきゃならんのだ。ブランドに対する友情か？ファンはみんな待ってるんだ。当時ヘラクレスが帰ってくるのを。俺だってそうだ。頼むヘラクレス、もう一度。
ヘラクレスさん、ブランドの腕が発見されました。
分かった。大事に回収してくれ。
それがちょっと妙なんです。発見されたのはこの海域じゃなく100キロほど離れた岩礁の上なんです。案内します。
待て。
So in the fight, because it's a whirlwind, the parts got flung off, right?
Yeah.
ヘラクレス。
Could the arm be holding on to a piece of it?
Probably.
Give us a little more information. This would be an epic spot for a fight to happen.
ブランドのメモリーチップ。つも。
なんてことを。敵はまだ死んでいない。
That's clean.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And again, it just made me weep for a robot dying. Come on, man. This series really is becoming a tearjerker for me for some reason.
I like the storytelling. I like it a lot.
Sharp. This one, I felt did it much better than the first part.
Yes.
You know, I mentioned the first time it was like two different stories that are mashed together. But here it was pretty consistent, right? We're doing the investigation, we're finding things. What Adam finds leads to him to Japan, which leads to the other robots, to Brando and this and that. So yeah, it all coming together now, right?
They're also giving locations, which if you really wanted to, you could pop them on a map and try and figure out if they matter.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, if I remember correctly, the robots were all from one nationality. Like Mont Blanc is from Switzerland, I think. He's Germany. He represents the Alps and all that. Yep. Adam is from Japan. Hercules is from Greece.
Yep.
Brando is from Turkey. Right. Yep.
And then the only one that we don't have in there was the Scotland. For not where the other robot was from, but where the castle was.
Yeah, I don't know where number 2 was, but yeah.
So number 2 was taken out in Scotland.
Yeah, but what is nationality? Or is he simply just another robot that I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, and it has to do with emotion, right? Yep. Each one of these robots, we're basically seeing I guess it is the evolution of the robots. That's my theory, because they're being exposed to war and other aspects.
They're being exposed to life-changing events.
Yeah. And they feel sadness, they feel hatred, they've been
Happiness.
feeling this happiness, and what they've done after the war, right? Like Brando decided, I'm gonna be a father, I'm gonna adopt children, right?
Yeah.
Hercules is like he kind of retired, but now he's gonna come back to the ring, right? Because he's the hero of the people, right? And he's, it's very interesting. Adam is the child who was the hero, right, of the war, because he came in at the very end, right, after all the fighting was mostly done, and so he was the symbol of new hope, right?
And it wasn't even his choice because he wanted to actually help, but they're like, "You look cute, Captain America."
If he had been torn to pieces in the war, that would have been something, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, pretty much, this is well done. This is
very well done. I'm curious to see where we go from, because we also did get that slight visual of whatever's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like it had big, wide shoulders, but real human eyes.
Yeah, so I think either it's a cyborg or one of the robots, either a cyborg or one of the robots. Maybe that was the experiment that these nation was doing, right? To give the ultimate weapon of mass destruction is melding a human and a robot, right? Give a human the power of a robot,
because then it can actually
right?
make the choice to kill, and you can't turn off that. You can't. Okay, hold on. So, I think what happened is when it was passed that robots cannot kill robots. In order to get around that law, Persia created a cyborg to be like, understood, we're following your laws. There you go. That's not a robot.
And since the country lost, it's we're basically facing sort of a loose nuke situation.
Yes, right? And I think it's living underneath Istanbul in that space with all the robot carcasses.
Yeah, well, that was in Persia somewhere. So yeah. So now we know why the war was fought.
Yes,
the Persians were making robots and abusing them, and essentially committed an act of genocide. The other robots go in to try to save the other robots, but of course they're programmed to fight, so they destroy thousands of the very people that they were trying to save, right?
Exactly.
Very much like one would argue happened in the war in Iraq, right? Oh, we're going to stop the weapons of mass destruction and liberate the Iraqi people. We end up killing a lot of Iraqis in the process of quote unquote liberating them, right?
Exactly. Because war never changes.
Yeah. And so we have to discover what the other robots feel like and what they're doing. Also, it's pretty much a weapon of mass destruction because it creates storms and everything like that. So apparently that's how it fights, right? It just tears apart people with, sheer power of weather control, right?
Which makes perfect sense because you don't have to recharge that. You don't have to shoot weather control.
So there's that.
That's true. Anything else you want to throw in about the episode?
I mean, it's at least for me, I'm getting a gut punch. I'm actually feeling emotions for what's going on, right? I'm not someone who really gets weepy when I'm watching something, but this is really hitting my gut. Like there's something about the animation and the fact that you care about these robots, right? Even though it's kind of cliche, we were talking about all the death flags, right? It's like,
yeah,
but I care, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why is because we're seeing it from point of view of robots. And the robots are aware of these things because it's one thing to have a human talk about human things, right? It's just a character, but they concede that.
I think it's more than that, though. I think it's the fact that we're seeing it through the point of view of robots that are in many ways more human than a lot of humans.
True, right? For them, these are new things, right?
Yeah,
and what they're doing is new, right? Also, but there is an aspect of this which is very interesting. Oh, well, okay. It was the laws that made humans, robots, be treated as people, not humans, as people.
Yeah.
Which meant their lives were equal to people. That led to the 39th Central Asian War. Because when the inspectors go there and see all these robots destroyed, they said, wait a minute, these people are committing an act of genocide because they're destroying people. So we launched the war to save the people and killed thousands of them in the process. So more of them. So this robot is not only, or whoever it is, cyborg, robot, whatever, is not only destroying these heroes of this war, but going after the very legal reason why the war was fought in the first place. Very interesting. And it's interesting that it go after the legal reasons and not say the political leaders that ordered the war or something like that. Right. He's not going after the president, the members of the UN that we so voted for the war. That would be kind of the logical thing, right? The logic seems to be, oh, wait a minute. If I remove the legal reasoning for the robots to become people, then what happened gets erased, right? They had no justification for it.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting angle, right?
It is.
It doesn't, will be excuse me, I'm trying to prevent the next war because humans would always abuse robots, right? Right? Because we see the attitude of the detective, the Japanese detective, like, oh, you people, right? Oh, your people are good for this. Your people are good for that, right? Like other people in this story have treated them, more or less like people, or you either have them as heroes or like companions, or like, oh, hey, you're a robot, okay, that's cool, etc. But he's the one really who's like, oh yeah, you people can do this, you people can do that. Oh, okay, it's perfect for you, right? Like, I guess I have to deal with robots, but it's so that attitude still exists, right?
Well, as long as robots exist, you're not going to get rid of that attitude, even whatever the legal stance on them is globally.
And also the fact that robots, I guess, feel compelled to imitate human behavior, even though they don't get any pleasure from eating food. They don't get any pleasure from drinking or eating food. They're like, oh, well, if like Adam was saying in the beginning, I eat it because that's what you're supposed to do. And the more enthusiastic about it, the closer I get to what is supposed to be feeling, right? That the food itself is not the issue. It's how you feel about the food, right? The toy is not the issue. It's how you feel about the toy, right? That you said it earlier, fake it until you make it, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm excited for food, then I got a reason to eat the food, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. And he's supposed to be the most advanced of them as well. So,
It seems like we're dealing with more and more advanced as we go.
Yeah. Or an evolution of robots, basically.
Exactly.
I know. So, yeah. Interesting. Might be a reverse RUR we're doing here. People who don't know, Rosen's Universal Robots, it's the first piece of work in literature where robots literally was created, the term robot. And it's also the first robot apocalypse story. So if you're, it's the first one where you actually have, because robots were invented for that. The term was invented by the brother of, the last name is Kapek. He was a Czech author and playwright. And he created the story called Rosen's Universal Robots about a world that gets, essentially taken over by robots because they build so many of them that people lose their jobs, etc. And well, I don't want to spoil it for you. It's very short read, but essentially it is the first robot revolution, robot apocalypse story. So I'm basically telling you a lot of what it is.
That's interesting.
So anyway, if you were interested in knowing the history of this stuff, the play itself is kind of dry, but it gives you some insight in what's going on, especially when you read something like I, Robot later, watch Star Trek or Star Wars, how droids are treated in Star Wars. Things like, what's a Blade Runner?
That just
if you read it,
added. To
If
my
you
check
read,
this out.
if you read, it's for free. You can find it in the Gutenberg archive, the English version for free. That's about 30, 40 pages at most because it's a play, basically. It's a bit dry, but it's a fast read. And I assure you, if you read that and then watch something like Blade Runner or particularly the Animatrix, yeah, you're gonna have like, oh, so this is where these ideas are coming from, and this is what they're trying to say, right? I mean, you can still like those things without reading RUR, but I believe the value of RUR is that it gives you that insight of like, okay, this is what the first person who talked about robots, and his brother was the one that named them, but he kind of invented the idea of the robot, right?
I wouldn't have this on my shelf if I didn't mind a dry read.
Yeah, that's another story. People should read that, and I think most people just stop at Inferno because Inferno is the more colorful part of the three, and then it gets really dry.
It gets so dry.
The more imaginative part of the comedy is just Inferno, and like, oh yeah, Purgatory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think with that, if we have no final thoughts, this has definitely been Stone-Faced Reactions. I am Justin. With me are Lessons and Theta's Chair. And we hope you enjoyed. And you, if you want to see some more, check out the Patreon, like, subscribe, and do your thing. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?